They say Sagittarius was born to be free, that their wild spirit recognizes neither borders nor chains. They are the wanderers of the zodiac, the seekers, the ones who walk toward the horizon with eyes full of hope and feet that never seem to tire. Their laughter is bright, their energy contagious, and their presence feels like a spark that can ignite even the most tired soul. But what few truly understand is that inside that freedom, inside that radiant fire, also lives their greatest torment. Because the demon that lives in Sagittarius doesn't come in the shape of flames or shadows. It comes in the form of escape. It's that quiet voice that whispers before feelings grow too deep. It's the impulse that tells them to leave before something roots them in place. It's the belief that commitment is a cage and that the thrill of the moment is always worth more than the calm of staying. Sagittarius shines brightly, inspiring others with enthusiasm, humor, and wisdom. But behind that warm glow lies a restless shadow that never sleeps. It is the inability to stop, the fear of standing still long enough to face themselves. Because when Sagittarius looks inward, when they meet the silence, they fear discovering parts of themselves that no journey can outrun. And so begins their inner battle.
1. The demon of escape. Sagittarius is the traveler of the zodiac, the soul who searches for answers in every sunrise, every landscape, every idea. But their inner demon convinces them that happiness is always somewhere else. Whenever life asks them to stay, to build, to commit, or to confront something painful, they feel the urgent need to flee. Movement becomes their refuge, change becomes their medicine, and distance becomes their shield. They fear routine not because it is boring, but because routine demands self-reflection. They fear stability not because they dislike it, but because stability reveals the wounds they have not yet healed.
Sagittarius believes they will lose their essence if they stay too long in one place. But the truth is simpler and more painful. They fear facing the parts of themselves that the open road cannot fix. With time, this constant urge to run becomes a prison disguised as freedom. They protect their independence so fiercely that it becomes a wall between them and true emotional connection. They avoid pain so intensely that they also avoid real love. And their demon smiles, satisfied, because it has convinced them that speed equals fulfillment. Yet a miracle happens every time Sagittarius stops, truly stops. When they turn inward without fear, their fire transforms. It no longer burns to escape, it burns to illuminate. In that moment, their demon weakens. Freedom stops being an excuse to flee and becomes a conscious choice, a purpose, not an avoidance. 2. The demon of excess. Sagittarius is made of intensity. Their spirit is expansive, vibrant, curious. They love to feel, to explore, to experiment, to dive into life with open arms and a racing heart. But their inner demon takes that passion and twists it into something unquenchable, a hunger for more excitement, more adventure, more love, more extremes, more everything. Sagittarius lives every moment as if it were the last, often without realizing that the soul, like the body, needs rest. Their constant drive to experience everything can leave them feeling strangely empty, as if no amount of fun, passion, or discovery can fill the fire that never stops burning inside them. This demon hides behind enthusiasm. It pretends to be freedom, but it is, in truth, a chain made of desires that never end. It convinces Sagittarius that stopping means surrendering, that resting means wasting time, that slowing down means losing life itself. And in this confusion, Sagittarius mistakes intensity for fulfillment. They chase impossible projects, fall for fleeting passions, make bold promises they may not be able to keep, all because the silence terrifies them. Because in that silence, they might discover a void that no adventure can cure. Yet within this chaos also lies their brilliance. Sagittarius is a seeker of meaning, a student of truth, a lover of life's mysteries. But if they do not learn to tame their flame, the fire becomes destructive, burning through their energy, their relationships, and their peace. Only when Sagittarius learns to find abundance in simplicity does their fire transform into wisdom. They realize fulfillment is not found in having everything, but in appreciating what already exists. Their demon of excess becomes a teacher, showing them how to burn brightly without burning out, how to live intensely without losing themselves, how to shine without consuming everything around them. 3. The demon of absolute truth. Sagittarius is the philosopher of the zodiac, the thinker, the guide, the eternal student. Their mind is vast, their heart curious, their intuition sharp. They seek truth everywhere, in every idea and every experience. But their demon distorts this noble quest. It fills them with pride. It makes them believe they see farther than others, that they understand more, that their truth is the truth. And, without realizing it, the wise one becomes a preacher. The teacher becomes a judge. The flame meant to illuminate becomes a fire that burns. This demon feeds on Sagittarius's confidence, their certainty, their passion, their conviction. It urges them to defend their ideals fiercely and to convince others that their perspective is the only valid one. They argue, they explain, they correct, and they become frustrated when people do not understand.
Their desire to teach is real, but the demon twists it, making them forget that wisdom requires humility. And when life finally confronts Sagittarius with their own mistakes, the fall feels devastating. The world seems to betray them. Their beliefs feel shattered. Their truths feel lost. Yet that collapse is a hidden blessing. Because when their certainty cracks, Sagittarius finally grows. They discover there is not one truth, but thousands, each shaped by experience, by pain, by perspective. They realize that knowledge is not a crown worn with pride, but a flame shared gently with others. When they stop talking and begin listening, when they stop imposing and start understanding, their fire becomes softer, wiser, kinder, more human. They no longer need to prove what they know. Their wisdom shines in silence, empathy, and the warmth of a non-judgmental gaze. When this demon bows before them, Sagittarius becomes the teacher they were always meant to be, one who guides without dominating, who inspires without forcing, who leads without ego.
The demon that also illuminates. The demon of Sagittarius is not pure darkness. It is fire, and all fire can either destroy or purify. The restlessness that torments Sagittarius is also the source of their evolution. It pushes them to explore, to question, to confront the limits of their soul. Each fall becomes a lesson, each mistake a rebirth. Their demon challenges them with questions that follow them for life. What are you really searching for? Why are you running? What do you fear finding in the silence? These questions steal their sleep. But they are also the same questions that awaken their spirit.
Sagittarius eventually learns that the purpose of their fire is not to burn the world, but to transcend themselves. They discover that the greatest journey is not across continents or oceans, but inward, into the truths they fear the most. With time, they begin to see their demon not as an enemy, but as a disguised ally. They no longer fear their impulses. They observe them with compassion. They understand that freedom without awareness is only another form of imprisonment. Expansion without roots is only drifting. When they embrace their shadow, they discover it has always been a part of their light. Their fire stops being a wildfire that destroys and becomes a lighthouse that guides.
5. The final revelation. Sagittarius, with their indomitable fire and adventurous soul, carries a flame that can be either their guide or their downfall. Behind their laughter and wanderlust hides a deep fear, the fear of stillness, the fear of silence, the fear of facing themselves without distractions. The demon that lives in Sagittarius is not a creature of night, but a whisper that urges them to run when they should stay, that tells them calm is defeat, that solitude is failure. But it is precisely in that silence, the silence they avoid, where their true wisdom waits. If Sagittarius looks inward with the same passion they use to explore the world, they will discover that they do not need more destinations to feel alive. They need roots, roots strong enough to hold them while the universe continues to spin. The fire they once used to flee can become the light that guides them home. Only then does their spirit stop running from the void and begin filling it with purpose, love, and truth. They say Sagittarius runs from everything, except from the fire within. And perhaps that is their greatest lesson, to stop running, to stop searching outward, and finally return to themselves.